Bada bing bada.
Hi.
Hi.
Back at
We're
it again.
yeah, getting back in the swing of things.
Okay, so Tori this week is Whiskey Willow, and I'm a little confused, Tor. I thought maybe the alliteration was over and that we were
Yeah.
going to stop that, but it
Mhm.
seems thou hast alliterated.
It's so funny cuz all I wanted was to get away from the alliteration, and now when I sit down and I have to actually come up without a prompt, I have to come up with a username to sign in. It's hard.
It's a lot of work. Yeah, I've been putting in the work this whole time
You
coming up
have
with new
been.
ones, and it's very
Yeah.
difficult. And it's a last minute decision because you're not going to plan
You
that
have
out.
to do it as you sit down. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as if I'm just taking notes throughout the week like, "Oh, that should be my sign-in name." Like, I don't know, maybe we should, but no. That's not the way it
Mm-mm.
works.
No.
So,
Yeah, I poured a little small glass of whiskey, so I am Whiskey Willow tonight.
well, I was going to say I really like the vibes of that because
Hmm.
we were just talking about the Willow song
Yeah.
from the Eras tour, and obviously we love the witchy vibes there. So, Whiskey
Hmm.
Willow is feeling very much in line with that.
It also made me think of your friend's band, Chamomile and Whiskey. Is did I say it right?
You did, but
Whiskey and
it's just
chamomile.
the way you say chamomile is so. Say it again.
How do you say it?
Chamomile.
Chamomile.
I don't know. Maybe you
Is
just said it fast,
I
but
think I like stumbled over it a little bit when I said
I thought
it.
it was an accent because the second time it sounded like maybe you said it again. Chamomile, chamomile. Um,
Chamomile.
but yeah, I do have a friend whose band is called Chamomile and Whiskey, and if you're listening, you should check them out.
And I feel like Whiskey Willow is a girl who would listen to Chamomile and Whiskey. Like the
Yeah,
vibes are just vibing together.
yeah.
So Amber tonight is Blair Waldorf. So she must be starting a new watch of Gossip Girl.
No, but that's a good assumption. That's a really safe assumption because I usually do be doing that. I I think I may have reached my limit for rewatching Gossip Girl. I think I used them all up, and I
Mm,
don't think I'll be able to rewatch it again until maybe 10 years from now.
okay. I'm
So
kind of
I
feeling like that with Gilmore Girls too. Our GG
yeah.
shows.
Yeah, and I'm just not vibing with it, and I have tried. I'm not going to lie. I have tried it and then I've just been not really into it, not watching it. So, no, the main reason I decided to go with Blair Waldorf is I thought my hair was looking really nice tonight and I was really
Yes.
fucking feeling myself.
Hell
And
yeah.
also, I actually just sent Birdie a picture of Leighton Meester, who is the actress that plays Blair Waldorf.
Okay.
She's married to Adam Brody, who was in that show you loved,
Oh,
Nobody
I
Wants
love.
This.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're married,
I didn't
and
realize.
yeah, and so it's award season. All these award shows are happening and stuff. So there's all these videos of Leighton and Adam walking red carpets and stuff. And she has just aged like fine wine. She's so beautiful. She's glowing. They look so happy together. And she has this amazing haircut with just like wispy bangs and stuff. And I sent a picture of her to Birdie and I was like, that's the haircut I want.
I'm not gonna lie, the haircut is giving Rory Gilmore.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. Yeah. Except for
They
we're
look
in our
great together.
30s. They look
Right.
so good together.
They really do. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. They seem genuinely to like each other.
Oh. I hope
Yeah.
Hollywood doesn't break our hearts with that one.
I know.
Mm,
I
okay.
know.
Yeah, my first update when I was adding in the clips for our episode last week where we like did some throwbacks kind
Yeah.
of. I realized, and this took me by surprise, that the Tiny Clockers was actually on a list called Shared Experiences, not simply alarmingly startling moments.
Well, it definitely was on Simply Alarmingly Startingly
Yes, it was.
Moments
And I
as well,
think,
but you're right. That's not where it originated. How funny.
yeah, I think that was the second time because we
Yeah.
were so alarmed. Simply alarmed.
Outfit repeaters. Yeah, we definitely use that for more than one list. But hey, when you come up with a good bullet point, it must go on multiple lists. There is no other way. I cannot be convinced as a millennial woman that there's a better way than a list.
100%. I mean, oh my God, my notes app. Well, you know.
I'm so glad I don't know what your notes app looks like, because I know what it's like to have multiple shared notes with you, and that is pure chaos. But it is somewhat organized, actually.
There's an order to the madness a bit.
It's organized chaos.
I also forgot to mention when I was talking about the Bikes and Bruises event last week, I mentioned that the little race part, it was like a short bit of it was the race. I forgot to mention that it was my guy who won the race. And
you left that out?
I know.
Where do you keep the audacity?
I know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Allie was the winner.
Yeah, and we like pulled up and I saw his bike like ahead of all the other bikes, like closest to the door. And I was like, oh my God, did he win? And someone was like, I don't know, you know, that doesn't always mean that. And then I got in there and he had told me if he won that he would buy like 10 beers for everyone and just like pass them out. And I saw him like getting a bunch of Bud Lights. I'm like, oh my God, you won. So
that's so exciting. Also, this message is for Allie and his friend group, and Allie and his friend group alone. If you're not one of those, keep scrolling. Petition to change the event name to Bikes and Bruises from this point
it's fair.
forward. Yeah, I think in memory of
Tori's knee.
Tori's knee and her first Bikes and Bruises.
And I don't think I'm the only one to have ever been injured either. I have heard rumors of other injuries.
So she's going to get them on her team, guys. So
right.
You either change the name or we're going to have our own Bikes and Bruises event.
Or I'll take you to small claims court.
1-800-ASK-GARY is what you should be doing.
They have these signs up called now Feliz Lawvidad. Feliz Lawvidad. Lawvidad. Feliz Lawvidad. Feliz Lawvidad.
What does that mean?
It means like Merry Christmas in Spanish. Feliz Navidad.
Okay, are you actually? That's what I thought it was like a play on that. Is what you were? I thought you were trying to be cute.
Well, there's billboards up on the interstate that say Feliz Lawvidad. There's a D at the end, so I don't know if I'm supposed to pronounce that or not. Anyways, it says law instead of Navidad. It's Lawvidad. Anyways,
what's Lawvidad mean?
Law, like it's for lawyers. It's an advertisement. It's the 1-800-ASK-GARY of Christmas.
It's like you saying a word. Lawvidad. Communications.
We are the queens of it. No, that was all on me, I feel like.
It just wasn't connecting that you were saying You have definitely made this word up. Lawvidad.
I really can't say it. I don't think I've said it right once.
Nobody can say it. It's not meant to be said.
But if you do want to say it, listen here to the pronunciation podcast and we will get you through it.
The 1-800-ASK-GARY people are genius marketers, because no matter what the marketing is, you cannot forget it. You will not be able to forget.
Speaking of Bikes and Bruises, I had to go to the doctor for my knee. RIP my knee. They're going to take the leg. No, I'm just kidding. But
I kind of figured. Wait, was that today?
Yesterday. And
they
did
even
x-rays.
Ask you about your appointment. I am such a dick.
Well, it wasn't super eventful. They did x-rays, no broken things, so that's a plus. But my doctor does want me to do PT, so I scheduled a physical therapy appointment.
Well, that's good, because your therapist is going on maternity leave, so at least you'll have your physical therapist. I don't know.
That's true. As they're like bending my leg, I'm just like spilling my heart.
Yeah, trauma dumping.
Yeah. Last update, we are clowning again. We took a little break. Took
Mm-hmm.
a little,
For the
what, it's been
holidays.
exactly a month since December 8th.
Yeah.
So we took a little time off, and now we are ready. So we're clowning for 1, 2, 3. I forget all
Mm-hmm.
the math behind it. It was, there was some kind of math behind it. And then also, I think it was announcement on 1, 2, 3, so January 23rd, and then drop on 3, 2, 1. Also, Taylor has registered Look What You Made Me Do Taylor's version with Shazam, and only artists can register their work.
Interesting.
So something's coming, and then um,
Does the
I
teacup tie into this theory at all?
Amber, it's going to. I mean, February is right in the middle of January and
Yeah.
March, so I haven't figured out how I'm going to justify it in my head yet. But it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe she announces debut before we actually get it in March. Reputation drops in February.
That'd be nuts.
So she only has until August because she applied for the copyright for debut and reputation on the same day, which was like August something. I want to say it was like 2022. I forget.
So
No,
it
20.
has to be this year.
It has to be 3 years after because it only lasts for 6 months, and then you can file up to 5 extensions.
Okay.
So both debut and reputation have to happen, I believe, by August like 16th, 2025.
That's pretty
So unless
crazy.
she can like reapply for it, I don't know. But all the TikTokers are saying it has to
I just
happen
think
by
it would be
then.
kind of crazy for her to draw it out that long, you know?
Right, like past that.
Well, yeah, because she's already been. How long has it been since the first re recording?
Fearless was first, yeah, and then Red.
And
And
when
that was
was
in
Fearless dropped?
2021.
Yeah, so it's been 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you think she's not going to drag that out for a decade?
I did think she was going to do them both this year. I just didn't think they would both be by August.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because I thought it would be like one in the very beginning of the year and then one at the
Gotcha.
very end.
I kind of gave up
Um,
hope, honestly.
mm-hmm.
If
That's
I'm really
fair.
digging deep
Yeah.
there, I definitely gave up.
The beauty of the 1, 2, 3 and 3, 2, 1 too is the 3, 2, 1 let's go bitch. And
Yeah.
also we have some birthdays
I
landing on
know.
these days.
So funny because we've been talking about those 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1, and whenever Tori and the gals were chatting about this in the Band of Clowns chat, I realized 1, 2, 3 is my son's birthday and 3, 2, 1 is my birthday. How cool is that?
It's meant to be.
Even if nothing happens on those dates, I'm just so glad I know that now.
Yeah. I know, right? That's so cool.
It's so interesting. I feel like I wouldn't have thought about it before, probably.
Right. And Amber and I have a combo birthday party scheduled with another girlfriend of
Yeah.
ours, which
It's everybody's birthday.
There's going to be at least as many people celebrating their birthday as people
Not.
Yeah.
Most is the likely. Birthday in the room with us? Like,
and all of our birthdays will have been at least 2 or 3 weeks before. Some of us like 2 months before the actual day.
When you get old, that's how hard it is to plan an activity with all of your old friends.
Yeah, adulting is tough. Okay, so what is going on this week?
Womp womp.
Yeah, Paige and Craig broke up. Hate that. But I'm sure, they have their reasons. It was just a little bit sad.
A little sad. And the social media around this has been kind of weird so far. Tori sent me a video Craig recorded it had to be in the last couple days, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
And he sounded and looked so sad and devastated. Yeah. And that could all be an act just for, just to make him look good. Right. And Tori, also, you mentioned,
I'm not sure if it's true. I think we can just say that we're not sure if it's true, but we did see some I think rumors of, there's definitely rumors of Paige cheating on Craig, which I doubt are true.
Oh, correct.
I really don't. I know her or something. I don't, but anyways, that's crazy.
We've been to her live show. We do know her. She wouldn't do that.
True.
She didn't do that. We know that, but there is speculation about that. So it is kind of just, I think whenever you're in the public eye, and your relationship is under a microscope, that's just so hard.
People are
That,
going to say shit.
yeah, no
Yeah.
matter what. So, but
And then there was some, like, I saw some rumors too about Paige maybe suing people who are saying that, but I have no idea if that, like, I just kind of brushed it off. I kind of thought of it as, well, if she is, good for her, and if
yeah.
not, that's not surprising that that's a crazy rumor. So I didn't even look into it, but
On the
I wouldn't be
opposite
surprised if that
side,
wasn't true.
yeah, no, I wouldn't either. On the opposite side of the spectrum, Tom Holland and Zendaya got engaged, and the internet has gone wild. I have to say, as far as celebrity couples go, I love these two. They are so cute together.
They are.
They seem so genuinely happy together. So cute. Also, I want to know, is Zendaya gonna change? Is she going to take his last name and be Zendaya Holland, or is she just gonna
Ooh.
stay Zendaya? Or will he maybe just be Tom? Drop the, like, she doesn't use her last name, so maybe he just doesn't use his.
Right. Yeah, what even is her last name right now?
Couldn't tell you. Couldn't tell you.
Wow, it's more than I expected. This is probably why she doesn't use it. It is Zendaya. Okay, it's Maree. That must be Marie. Zendaya Marie Stowermer Coleman. There's 4 names there. I'm not sure which is the middle or the last. But it is a bit of a mouth. Zendaya seems a little easier. It kind of rolls off the tongue.
I think it makes sense. She said, Madonna did it.
But Zendaya Holland sounds nice.
It does, actually. I was
Holland's
just
a great
kind of
last
just
name.
kidding. I kind of hope she doesn't take his last name.
Just for, like, female empowerment.
Yes.
Changing the what is that word?
Taking down the patriarchy.
Yeah.
Are the words you're looking for. Fuck that. Yes. Yes.
That's cute, though. Love that. We already touched on this a bit, but my therapist is going on maternity leave soon, so I'm going to be raw dogging life.
Every time you say that.
So this might be you might be my therapist next week.
Great. Okay. We have a new segment.
Good.
Perfect.
Yep. You, my physical therapist.
We're gonna tag team it.
Yeah. You guys might want to start a shared note. Pretty much anyone in my life. So that'll be fun. That'll be interesting. I haven't been without therapy for a little over a year now, so never took a break. So it'll be fun.
It's probably a good time to take up cigarettes.
Oh, great idea. Or like vaping. I heard that's really easy to quit when you're ready.
Yep. You should be
just
fine.
Kidding, by the way. Don't take my advice, anyone.
I don't think anyone ever takes our advice.
True.
I hope.
Great point.
But thank you for the disclaimer. Legally, I think we have a right.
We'll ask Allie.
Great point. We have so much free legal advice now.
Okay, so how do we feel about ... question mark? Oof, I almost missed it.
It felt off. The vibe felt so off there for a sec.
People putting Gypsy Rose on a pedestal.
Honestly.
And we're a little outdated with this one because she was like all the talk like 2 months ago, but I think it's...
Well, that's just on par for us being out of touch. I don't think anyone's shocked by the timing at which we got on this bandwagon. Makes total sense. We're senior citizens like hobbling to the... Anyway, I actually think the Gypsy Rose thing is so funny. It's so messed up when you think about who we're giving a platform to. It kind of makes me feel the same way about Anna Delvey. Did you watch that show on Netflix?
No.
About the con artist Anna Delvey. So she went to jail for a while, and there's a show on Netflix about her because she's a con artist, and she literally, after she got out of jail, was on Dancing with the Stars with an ankle monitor on. So it was just kind of like she's still in legal trouble, but we've got her on Dancing with the Stars, which is just like,
What was she
here,
arrested for?
I don't know what the actual crimes were
Okay.
offhand. Hang on. I'll ask the Google.
I bet Google will know. But yeah, the Gypsy Rose thing is so...
Theft-related charges. Larceny, attempted grand larceny, defrauding banks, hotels, forging bank statements. She pretended to be rich.
Those are real crimes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she did all that, and she's this Russian gal. Like, she doesn't look like the type of person who would commit those crimes, which is honestly the perfect crime.
Yeah.
And the TV show paints her in a pretty funny, amusing way, especially with her accent. So I think the world kind of treated her similarly to how they did Gypsy Rose, which is just kind of like, we love to watch a dumpster fire. Think about it. It's especially ever since COVID, people are so locked in digitally. What was the one guy's name? The Tiger King.
Oh my God.
He was obviously not like great people, right? But like, we love to watch him.
Yes, yeah.
Sort of the same with Gypsy Rose. You know, like she kind of like murdered her mom.
She did.
Not firsthand, but...
Right. She orchestrated it. She planned it.
Yeah.
I think people like put her on a pedestal too because she was abused. And I do believe there probably was abuse that went on. But yeah, it's just like she was a huge part in the murder
orchestrated
of
her mother's death.
And there are a lot of people who like are abused in similar ways or different, more brutal ways who don't murder anyone about it. So like I had some friends in a group chat who were like kind of joking around, and they're like, oh, Gypsy Rose might, when she gets out, she's a big Swiftie and wants to go to the Eras Tour. Like, can you imagine sitting next to Gypsy Rose at the Eras Tour? And I was like, and they're like excited about it, kind of jumping on the bandwagon of just like everyone, because she was abused, everyone's just like totally backing her and like putting her on the, and like free Gypsy and stuff. And I get that it sucks that she was abused. Also, she didn't handle it very well either. I don't know if there's a way to handle it, but like,
yeah,
the worst way is kind of how it was handled.
Yeah, and it's just kind of like, what message are we sending by okaying that kind of thing? It's so interesting what people will give a pass to.
It is, especially when there's like this group mentality of it. I feel like it's very interesting. I mean, even the Luigi stuff going on right now.
Yes, that's the same thing. That's so true.
Yeah, and by the way, the memes are hilarious, and I am enjoying that. But like, there was death still. Like, do we really want to condone people just deathing each other?
Right. It's really hard to give people who have made those types of decisions a pass. Even though
I'm
there's
not a
other
CEO
circumstances. Lover. Right. Obviously, we just said fuck the patriarchy like 5 minutes ago. We obviously are not on that bandwagon. But it's a little drastic with the unaliving.
Yeah. Anyway, so
no, that's a funny topic, actually. It just goes to show you how fucked up society is.
Honestly,
like, dance for us, monkey. Like,
and it's only because so many people have like agreed that it's okay,
right?
That like all of a sudden this thing is okay.
The internet's like, wild. There's far too much communication happening. We need to shut some of it down.
Not enough communication. Like, all the communication is in these echo chambers too.
Yeah.
And not enough like communication from like actual different sides and different beliefs. Anyways, that's a whole rabbit hole I could get down.
True. That's a whole other how do we feel about.
So for Tinder adventures, I'm booed up, got a boyfriend. We locked in the whole label thing, so that's exciting. Unfortunately, this will be the last Tinder adventures segment we have. I deleted the app. We both sat next to each other, deleted our apps. And it feels kind of silly to give an update like on my boyfriend every week. You know, like when I was married, I wasn't giving an update on my husband every week.
Maybe we should just like,
well,
check
that would have been depressing.
It would have ended a whole lot sooner. It would have been like, you know what? This is bleak. I think it's time to pack it in. I can't take another one of these updates.
That is what my therapist said.
Yeah. That sounds about right. In so many words.
It's not far off. So I figured, though, since this will be our last Tinder adventures, there's a couple like Tinder stories that we never told. So it will be, we can kind of end with some of the crazier stories that were never shared, and then we can package this up and wrap it away.
And say goodbye to it. Yeah. This feels good. It feels right. Mm-hmm. It feels like the time to move on from Tinder Ventures. And Tori couldn't have found a nicer, just great person all around. Like, seriously, she earned this. Okay. Oh. After the last guy, it was like, okay, somebody better send her like walking fucking sunshine. And they did. They did.
Yes, very happy. Okay, so for some of the ones that didn't make it.
Poor guys. They just weren't the ones.
They certainly were not.
It's not Tori, it's them.
100%. No, yeah.
Yeah.
This first one asked me for a job.
In this economy, you gotta be thinking.
True. That's fair, yeah.
2 birds.
So I think he was only going for the one bird, if I'm being honest. Oh my gosh. So we both did similar kind of work, like environmental stuff. And I could tell from his photos, and that's why I matched him. I thought that was cool. We had that in common, you know? And he made the first message, and it just said, "What do you do for work?" It wasn't like, "Hi, how are you?" Like, "You look cute," like nothing like that. It was just like, "What do you do for work?"
Oh my God.
Like, okay, but no, that's why we matched, right? That's why I matched. So I was like, okay, not counting it as a flag.
Yeah, red flag. Yeah.
I told him what I do, and he mentioned that he does something that my company trains people to do. So I was like, oh, we probably trained you because there's only so many organizations that do that. We're one of the few. And then he's like, oh, you work for this company? I was like, yeah. And then we like chatted a little bit more. And then he said, "Can I have a job? LOL."
So unhinged.
And he said, "I don't want to move back to West Virginia."
Same.
No, you're from regular Virginia.
Regular Virginia.
And I was like, oh, like, I don't think we're hiring right now, but like, you can send your resume to this email and we'll keep it on file.
You did not. That's hilarious.
It's so awkward.
Do you think, okay, so you said you don't think, you think he was only after the job. Do you think he sought you out?
No, because you can't really on Tinder.
Well, like, like so in your bio, if it said like you were an ecologist or something.
Oh, it does. Yeah, no, he did know that.
Oh, okay.
So maybe, yeah. And
what a crazy world. Just using Tinder as if it's LinkedIn. They're interchangeable, apparently.
And he was just like such a Debbie Downer. Anytime I was just like, "Hey, how are you?" I don't know, he's like, "I'm sick," or like which is fine. It's fine to sometimes be. I'm not happy often.
I wake up pissed off.
We do, but we're funny about it. He would just be like somber, just always somber. And the last message I sent, I remember I stopped talking to him for a while because I think I was talking to Freddie. I was talking to someone else, so I just wasn't as active on Tinder. And I popped back in and I was like, "Hey, so how have you been?" And so I think I said, "Sorry, I haven't been on here for a while. Like, how have you been?" And he said, "Terrible. We're all terrible." And that was the last message I ever got from him. I didn't answer.
Existential crisis. I think instead of a job, he needs a therapist.
So. And who's we? He said, "We're all terrible."
That's what I would like to know. Because when I'm unhinged, I refer to myself as we. So
you do.
Yeah.
So I don't know what he was going through, but I just feel like I wasn't the person to address it at that moment.
Going through. That's hilarious. That's a good one. That's a great story. Wow.
This next one, these are going to get more and more interesting progressively. This next one, we had recorded this and we ended up taking it out and not putting it in the episode. So I just want to make it very clear before I get into it that we are not kink shaming in any way, shape, or form. Whatever you're into, great for you. As long as everything's consensual, I am not shaming.
Yeah.
It was more so some other like the delivery and some like extenuating circumstances around this one that made it a little interesting.
Sensitive. So, yeah.
This was the Catholic school teacher, Amber. I know that you know this one well.
Yes.
Who was specifically into mothers. And how it started was he was asking about my son, which is always kind of it's definitely like a little bit of like ringing dingy bells go off when it's like one of the first things people ask. There's sometimes people are just interested in getting to know you, but like, I don't know, if you're interested in my son right away, like I'm kind of on alert a little bit, you know?
That's fair.
But I answered it vaguely, you know, I said how old he was and whatnot. And it became very clear very quickly that he wasn't so much into my son, but into the fact that I was a mother and had a son because he was very into moms.
Yeah.
Again, fine. The problem was that he was a high school Catholic school teacher. So that just feels like, I don't know, something about that feels...
There's some gray overlapping things happening there that just don't feel right.
Right. Because it's like, did you get that job because of that? Or did like this develop after being in the job? I don't, though it's something.
Either way, it kind of isn't great.
It's something's off about it. Something doesn't feel quite like ethically above board.
It's a miss. Something's amiss here. Yeah. It's just one of those situations when you have this gut feeling where you're like, I don't know why, but that just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. He kept asking me these questions specifically about being a mom, and like I'd answer it and then I'd say something else and he'd go right back to the mom thing. So I kind of was picking up and I'm like, are you like specifically into moms? And he did end up like confirming that was a thing for him. So yeah, I felt off about that with his profession. It wasn't just that. But then the other two that were interesting, and it was more so that these both happened and like in kind of similar ways. But Freddie, who was a character on the pod for a while, was into cross-dressing. Again, I am not shaming. That's fine. I was very accepting.
So accepting and so nice. So thoughtful and patient. Yeah.
He also like always had these things. He said that he was like into unusual kinks that he wouldn't like actually...
And those are his words.
Yes. Yeah. And he wouldn't tell me what they were, which is his prerogative. Like he said, he didn't feel comfortable sharing with people who he wasn't very close with.
But again, it's weird to say that you have specific interests, and then, but I don't want to say what they are.
And he would want me to guess them too. But
right,
I'm like,
so
why am I gonna...
He did want to talk about it, but he didn't want to outwardly be the one to say it. He wanted you to guess it.
Or to confirm it, yeah. But through all this, like, we were still talking. None of this is the reason why things ended. The reason why we ended was the belly flop.
Yeah. And he was a gambling man, so.
There was that too, yep. That wasn't even the reason we ended it. Wow. Things should have ended sooner.
That was like a major red flag. You're like, he is very familiar with the casino.
He's very. But yeah, so it was the way the cross-dressing with him came up was that I think I was wearing leggings one day and he was like, my ex-girlfriend let me try on her leggings one time. And I was like, oh, that's cool that you like weren't weirded out by like wearing her leggings. And he's like, oh, you like that? And at this point I had no idea that it was like more than this. And I was like, yeah, it's cool that you're not like so stuck in these like gender norms that you can like have fun and play around like that, you know? And then he was like, oh, okay, well, if you like that, like I'm going to go shopping today or something like that. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And And this whole time on the side, I'm texting Amber and I'm like, what is going on? Like, I'm missing something. Like, something is going on here.
Yeah.
And I can't tell what it is. So he ended up like saying that he went to Walmart and like picking up a bunch of women's clothing. And he asked me if I wanted to like see him in the clothing. And again, I am not at all judging him. If he wants to wear a dress while we're together, if he's more comfy in that, I don't care. But it's not that I'm like requesting it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like he wanted me to be requesting it from him.
Yeah.
And like that was like, it just felt like ingenuine.
It seemed like from the way we just had hints that maybe the clothes weren't brand new, like he hadn't just gone
Well,
out and
that
gotten them
too.
that day. We felt
Yeah.
like maybe he had that stuff before already. It was just very fast for someone to decide that they were seemingly suddenly into something.
Yes, and he specifically did tell me, I've never been into this before, but all of a sudden, now that we're talking about this, I'm into it. And I was like,
Yeah.
he sent me a picture of him wearing a dress in a room, and then 2 minutes later sends me a Snapchat of him playing board games at a friend's house. So I'm like, you had that picture from before
Yeah.
because you're not in your
I
room
forgot about that.
wearing that right now. Yeah. So that was the first, and I
There
texted you,
were
Amber,
several
and I was
clues
like,
where, like, timing wise, it just
mhm.
wasn't lining up that this was a new
Right.
thing.
But again, none of that really bothered me. I was a little bit bothered that it felt like he was lying to me about it. Like
Yes.
the fact that it wasn't a new thing. Like it felt
Mm-hmm.
like he was lying about that. And then also he was like trying to gaslight me into like requesting it and wanting it from him. I
Yeah.
felt like telling me that I like it. And I'm like, oh, I
And
don't
all
not
the
like
while,
it.
isn't he telling you that he's had a pretty promiscuous
Yes.
lifestyle?
And that
Mm-hmm.
he's been with so many people he can't count, and yeah, but has
Yeah, and it's
never
just the
had
math just wasn't
shower
mathing.
sex. No. Never had shower sex, never had sex with someone on their period. Like these are just like rites of I mean, the period one that just ends up happening, I feel like. But
Yeah,
like he hadn't done anything but missionary ever, but
as
been with so
evidenced
many
by the belly flop.
but been with so many people that he couldn't count. So like a lot of things just weren't adding up, and I felt very lied to. So that's why that ended up ending. But the cross-dressing thing wasn't like a thing that made me want to end it, but I just did feel lied to about it in the sense of like I don't think this is new, but you're telling me
Yeah,
it is.
in whatever way he misrepresented something to you, it's still
Yeah.
not totally clear what that is or was, but
Or how many things.
he definitely wasn't being truthful.
Yeah. So then I'm on Bumble like a few weeks later, and I'm talking to this guy. I think he was like an anesthesiologist. We were hitting it off. We'd only been talking though for like a day and a half. So, and I ended up waking up in the middle of the night. I think I had a stomach ache or something. And I saw that I had a notification from him on Bumble, and I checked it, and he said like something like, I just woke up in the middle of the night from a Spice Girls dream, and my roommates are still awake, and I went out and I'm playing like video games with them or something. And I was like, oh, okay. And somehow he kind of like baited me along this conversation to where he was asking me like which Spice Girl he would be. And I just like named one of them that I remember. I was like Ginger Spice. I was trying to think of one of the ones that aren't like talked about as much. So I
Yeah.
was like Ginger Spice. And then he's like, okay, well, like and then okay, so he said he was out playing with his roommates too, who was a couple. It was like his roommate and his roommate and his girlfriend. And he kept saying that the roommate's girlfriend was a Swiftie. And I'm like, oh, besties, like that's cool. And then he's like, well, she wants to know how you would do my hair if I was Ginger Spice. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know enough about the Spice Girls. Like, I don't know. And this went on, Amber, for like 2 days of
Yeah.
him saying like she wants to know like what outfit you would pick out for me. She wants to know how you would do my makeup. And it got to a point where I was like, like, first of all, I don't believe that your roommate is like with you all the time, and that feels strange to me that like
especially not your roommate's girlfriend.
right, and it feels so strange to me that you're like talking to me through like your roommate's girlfriend. And then I also was like, are you into cross-dressing? And after having this thing with
Yeah.
Freddie, I was like, you know what, I'm a little more like
I just need to
weary
know
of getting involved with someone romantically who wants me to be excited about that. Because again, I don't care, but like I'm not excited about it. I'm not going to pretend that I'm not excited, but it's not something, it doesn't do it for me, really.
Yeah, it's not what you would ask for if you had your pick of
right
anything.
And he seemed like he was kind of like that too, where he was trying to get me to like egg it on or ask about or like ask for them to do that, you know. And they're
such poor communicators. They're like, I'm gonna lead you to it.
And he
reverse
said
psychology.
And then his answer was, well, I didn't think I was into it until we started having this conversation. And I'm like, what is going on?
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there are just repressed feelings amongst men,
right,
that they need to explore on someone else's dime.
That's my thing. And I'm trying to be like, I don't want them at all to think I'm judging, because I'm like, it's brave of them to be open about it to anyone, you know.
It's very
so like
progressive.
And I told him, I'm not like at all like judging you for that. I'm happy for you. Like, you should go and explore that. I don't think I'm the one to like kind of lead you through it type of thing.
Yeah.
And how did I get in this seat?
Twice. It's your job to usher them through it, Tori.
And it felt like it. And then I wanted to be gentle with them too, and not like, oh. So yeah, those are my interesting Tinder adventures that we had not yet shared.
Some good times. And
what a wild ride it's been.
I'm so happy for you and Allie, but some of these conversations are some of the funniest ones I've ever had. Just our side conversations through these situations are probably, I would love to just be a fly on the wall and listen to our past conversations about this stuff, because it was truly unhinged.
We have those voice notes, right? Like, I know I sent some voice notes.
The thing is, I don't have my settings on to where it automatically saves the voice notes. Like, I know either you or Alicia has that setting on where it just automatically saves them for you. I do not. And so I only save them if I like think to hit the keep button. And I normally try to if they're unhinged.
Yeah. Anyways, that's a wrap on Tinder adventures.
Yeah.
Pack it up and put it away. I don't. So for my first funny text, this one is from Star Players group chat that has Sam, Amber, Dustin, and Shoshana and Alicia.
Podcast folks, at this point forward, we will not be reiterating who Star Players is. We've told you.
Great point.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Great point. Yeah. So Star Players group chat. And Shoshana had sent us a Snapchat of her being at the gym, and she was working on some machine, and this woman was like looking at her funny. And I don't know, eventually they like got close together, and the woman told Shoshana that she was just trying to read her body.
So weird. It's giving Hannibal Lecter.
Right. And Shoshana is a gym girly. Like, if this was normal gym lingo, she would be familiar with it.
She would. For sure.
So she left, went to a different machine, and this woman went to a machine right behind her again. Mm-hmm. And then I think she ended up just leaving the gym at that point. And so Sam responded to Shoshana's Snapchat and said, would it be appropriate to just start barking at her? I just thought that was such a funny, I'm going to start barking at people when they make me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, and also don't tell a woman that you're going to read her body, no matter who you are.
It was another woman, too, but, like, still.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care.
It doesn't.
Who you are, don't ever say that.
Reading
to
what?
Anyone. Just, those words should not be spoken.
No. This next text is from Amber. It's short and sweet, but hilarious. You should tell Brian your boyfriend is his father.
Someone has to say that to him. You know, that's the last piece of karma that I need to fall into place.
No, that gave me a good giggle.
That's great. My only funny text this week is with Tori, and we were doing some pre-podcast planning earlier today, and she sent me a screenshot of 2 lists from our list of lists that we choose from each week when we're recording, and was asking me if we should use one of those lists tonight. And I said, sure, either one works. And I happened to look at one of them and saw that there was a bullet point. So I used this moment to be a smartass. And I said, what's a goddamn fuse? Because that was the bullet point on one of her lists.
Goddamn fuse.
Goddamn fuse. And she said, you can tell I was frustrated when I wrote that. It's a little thing you have to replace in cars sometimes. Little itty bitty thing. You know, she's genuinely explaining this to me. Even though I'm being a smartass. But I don't think she had caught on yet that I was being
I had not.
a smartass. And I said LMAO in all caps, which is how you know I think something's funny if I LMAO in all caps. And I said, stop, you're lying. And she said, no, honestly, like a little electrical box, but it's tiny. And I texted back, no, I'm cackling because you're always talking about cars. And she even sent a picture of a fuse box.
And the little tweezers you have to use. Oh my God.
Yes. And I said, that does look annoying though. And she said, I'm a mechanic at head. Because, you know, Suri had to be trying us with some autocorrect. Suri. And she said, Jesus, heart. And I said, no, mechanic at head sounds right. In your heart, I don't think cats mean that much to you. And I meant to say cars. And of course, I was being autocorrected. And she said, Amber, I love cats. In all caps. And I said, I hate communicating. To which Tori replied, Suri is cucking it up. Which is not what she meant to say. And Tori says, I didn't even correct that because that's exactly what I mean. She played herself there.
Damn it, Suri.
So, of course, we are going to be using that list, and stay tuned for that later in the episode.
And my next one's with Amber and I and a mutual friend of ours. The same mutual friend who was mentioned last week with the miscommunication about the back scratches. And that mutual friend said, I just laughed out loud so hard that I woke her spouse up on the couch. And she said, no regrets. And then Amber said, BRB, I'll smother him for you. I can't even say it without laughing. And then Amber said, Darlene's on the loose again tonight, which is her alter ego. I don't know if we've mentioned that on the pod yet or not.
I think maybe briefly in passing, yeah. So if I'm saying we, it's me and Darlene, and you should watch the fuck out for Darlene because she is a snake.
And then our mutual friend said, watching Gladiator, imagining I'm Russell Crowe. And then Amber said, so unhinged. At some point, I sent a GIF as well of Flanders kind of approaching with a pillow. So it got dark. It got dark in there.
Yeah, for legal reasons, this isn't an actual conversation that we had.
It's not, no. There are potentially screenshots and records, but no, there are not. No,
you have to petition us to get those, though. So.
Or I think it's a warrant.
Thank you. That's what I meant. You have to petition. You can try to petition us.
Petition me. Okay. And for my last one, Allie must have really been trying to make it into the funny text because he sent this about 15 minutes before we recorded.
Nice.
And he's at trivia night with his family, which, green flag.
Adorable.
And he always sends me like the trivia categories that they're going through. And he sent me the picture of the categories and then says, I'll be thinking of you in round 7. And I look to see what round 7 is, and it's what's with that swelling. So he's referring to my knee.
Yeah, that's incredible.
It gave me a good laugh, yeah. So what are we consuming?
So we are trying to consume Throne of Glass, but I have not been able to get into book 3, which is the flashback from before.
And we know how it ends, so that's fair.
Right.
Like,
so,
you don't know how you get there, but...
Right. And I'm relying on Birdie here. She kind of decided to take one for the team, and she decided she did get pretty far through the book. I think she only has a few chapters left. And so I was like, you know what? If you finish the book, can you just give me your cliff notes about what happens? So, and she said if she gets to the end and it's vital to the story for me to read that book, that she'll let me know and I'll have to read it. But I'm just so ready to move on with the story at this point. I just don't think I can read this book. So
I could never do that. I'm such a completionist that like
I know it's actually pissing me off that I'm doing this, but I simply cannot. This is where we're at. You can't see that.
She is slamming things for the audience.
I'm slamming books down on the table. So these are the next 2 books, and we have to read them in tandem. Mm-hmm. So we have to go from one book to the other and one book to the other, back and forth throughout. So you don't just read one and then read the other. You got to read them at the same time. So we have to go through with tabs and tab the book so we know where to stop and where to go to the other book. So, right, this sounds like rocket science, right?
It is. No, it is.
Women in STEM.
For sure.
So this weekend, we're going to work on tabbing the books. In the meantime, I did buy myself a little present, and I got this book, and it's called The Valkyries. It's written by the same guy who wrote The Alchemist, which is a really famous book. So I'm really hoping that it's really awesome, because I've read books that talk about Valkyries in the past, and they're basically just like amazing warrior women. So yeah.
I just realized you said amazing warrior women, didn't you?
Yeah. Okay. What did you think I said? Like warrior?
Amazing for your women.
We just can't fucking hear each other. Lord, Lawvidad. Once again, folks, this is a pronunciation podcast.
There's a disc named the Valkyrie too that I like to throw.
So. Oh, amazing! They're warriors. Warriors
for your women. Because I throw that.
I can't. So yeah, I will let you guys know once we get those fucking books tabbed.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to that. The tandemness of it all. That's interesting.
I'm a little nervous. Mm-hmm. So we'll see how hard that is. I've never done a tandem read before.
Yeah, me neither. It's
because it seems kind of fucking dumb, right? It's a little stupid. Like,
it seems like you should have just written it that way then.
Also, Sarah. I will say that I'm a little annoyed with Sarah J. Maas right now anyway, because today I got on Instagram and saw that her other famous book series, ACOTAR, that was the first series I read of hers, which is amazing and everyone loves ACOTAR. It's highly popular right now.
Yeah.
She re-released the books with a bonus chapter, and they're called the Night Court edition. So it's basically just a giant cash grab. Like, am I supposed to be excited to give you more money to have more books that I already have that are just, and they're black. Like, they just took the original artwork, which is really cool looking, and the books are colorful, and they just made it black and called it the Night Court edition. Like, eat my ass, Sarah J. Maas. That's my slogan from now on.
Eat my ass, Sarah J. Maas.
Like, I love you, but I fucking hate you. Okay? Come on.
It's definitely giving release 4 different albums with 1 different song on each of the albums.
Yeah. It's just overconsumption in a way that pisses me off.
It is frustrating, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like part of you does still want all of it.
I know. It's so annoying because I'm like, well, it does have one thing that's really popular on books right now. I don't know if you've seen this if you've been in like Target or a bookstore, but a lot of them have where the edges are painted and
Raggedy.
have some kind of design or
I love
something.
that.
It's there. There are the pictures didn't show what that part of the book is going to look like. It only showed the actual book part, not the edges. So maybe it'll be really cool and have some celestial elements. But yeah, that just really pissed me off today when I got on Instagram and saw that. Like, can you just give us a new book for for the ACOTAR series instead of re-releasing with
Right.
an additional bonus chapter that you probably wrote while you were taking a shit yesterday? Like, I didn't ask for this.
Right. And how long has that series been out for, too?
ACOTAR, I think, was first released in like 2013, I'm pretty sure. So
When was the last book?
When was the last book published? I believe 2021 is when A Court of Silver Flames came out.
I'm still chugging away through Real Housewives of New York. I'm on season 12 of 15 now, so we're really getting towards the current times. Season 12 just started that Bethany Frankel left again, which she was really growing on me, though. I'm definitely sad to see her go. She's always overwhelmed, which like I can just super relate to that.
Yeah.
But she seems like a pretty good person on the show, at least. So sad to see her go. I've only seen one episode since Luann got off probation, but it seems like she's going to continue not drinking. And I was wondering like how that was going to go. So cool.
Nice.
Good for her.
Fuck it up, Luann.
Mm-hmm.
Or don't fuck it up, I guess, should say.
Right. Yeah, that's probably better. Southern Charm, Pat told us that she is 83 years old.
Yeah, that is sort of unbelievable to me.
83, and I don't think she wouldn't lie.
No, why?
Because you don't want to.
She lie.
Right.
If she was gonna lie, she'd say she's like 65.
Right, which I would believe.
That's kind of, yeah, I was thinking like maybe 65 to 70 was probably where she was at. 83 is crazy.
83. I'm surprised
insane.
she even said it.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like she's also from that generation where it's just like you don't ask a woman her age, you know?
Right. Yeah, so I was just like blown away by that.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta say, this show just doesn't hit like it used to, and I think it's really just because we are getting old, but so is the cast, and they just aren't as unhinged as they used to be. Yeah. I'm sorry, but you can never get better entertainment than Catherine running down the road screaming Thomas's name.
Yes.
In a fur coat.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that season was so entertaining.
So
it was
entertaining.
Trash. They were terrible people.
They were horrible people. And I think, honestly, Catherine would be a different human being had she not been on this show. And I do think this show kind of did her dirty and really messed with her mental health, emotional health, and all of those things. And I wish she was still on the show, A, because she's entertaining, and also because it was hard not to root for her. You know, she's the underdog, and now it's just like probably would be too hard to watch at this point, but you know, still bring back Cam and Catherine. Cameron was so entertaining,
especially
as well.
Cam.
Yeah.
And she was entertaining in actually a good way.
Yeah, Cam
like she
actually was a good
just
person.
Burning.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, I really liked her. And that's why she left, though.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's like the biggest deal on this episode was that Craig is being healthy and not partying as much. And like it's creating this rift between all the guys. Like,
yeah, it seems like the producers are like, well, you've got to have some drama.
Yeah, I really think that's why Craig lied about the bitch thing too, is because I don't think it maybe the producers were in on it, but I feel like he probably just realizes that like there's no drama on the show right now. Like it's not that interesting. So he's like, I'll say he called Pat a bitch.
Gotta stir the pot a little bit. Yeah.
Right.
Craig is also just in his bones a liar.
Good point. Yeah.
I mean, ever since he lied about like the law school stuff, it's just like,
That was so weird.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to think. And I know people grow and change and, of course,
Right.
make different decisions the
But
older
the
they get.
extent
But
he took that to was unhealthy.
I just don't trust him.
Good for Paige.
Yeah, better off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she leveled him up. He didn't level her up.
Yeah. I mean, she's always been dope.
Yeah.
Even that's how I have always like really respected her, because a lot of people when they get on reality TV, like, I mean, even Hannah had her like moments, whether they were as bad as they actually were or like it was kind of twisted by producers. Like Paige never even gave the producers a moment to be able to twist anything. Like she what always had her shit together, always kept her cool. Like there was never an embarrassing moment or like
Yeah.
anything that like she should regret, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just always been, I've always respected that about her, because it's got to be hard. I
Yeah.
would do stupid shit for sure if I was on
I'm so
reality
glad my
TV.
life isn't on TV. No
Mm-hmm.
thanks.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, our list this week is things that didn't phase us as kids, but they definitely do now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's only appropriate that we start with the goddamn fuse, Tori.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how to change a goddamn fuse. So, when I was a kid or younger, I have changed goddamn fuses before in my car, and my appendages were smaller, and it was easier to kind of twist my arms
Mm-hmm.
into these spaces.
Mm-hmm.
I also had a different car. I feel like it was a little more accessible. This last time I ended up with a bruise, and I sat in the Advanced Auto Parts parking lot for like 2.5 hours trying to change the fucking
No,
fuses.
not
Yeah,
the
with these
advanced
tiny little
auto
tweezers.
parts parking lot.
Yeah, yeah. So I think this was the day that I did it, and I was very frustrated, and that's why I wrote how to change a goddamn fuse on.
It's very, very specific.
Yeah, sleeping on a couch.
Oof. This one will
Mm-hmm.
wreck my back for a week now.
Mm-hmm. And I remember when this changed for me, because I used to always go to your house and sleep on your couch,
Yeah.
and there became a point where I was like, no, I'm just gonna have to drink less and drive home.
Yeah.
Because I
I
hurt
can't,
if I sleep on the couch.
simply cannot be
And you
forced
have
to
a
sleep
very
on the
cozy couch too. But it's just like my body can't.
Mm-mm. No. I think once you
Mm.
have kids, you have no business sleeping on a fucking couch. Like,
Mhm.
your body is
It was
just
even
like.
before kids for me.
I had kids young, so just ignore me. My
That's true. You're like
timeline's a little
19 and I'm
advanced.
done with couches.
Exactly.
Staying up late.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This one hits home for me too because my son really started going to
Mm.
sleepovers more in this last year.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing at sleepovers. Like all the boys are just like, we're going to stay up as late as we possibly can. And it's
Yep.
so funny seeing when the exhaustion sets in the next day. Like at first it's all fun and games, but then you get through the day and you're like, what day, what time, what
Yeah.
year am I in?
Mhm.
So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, we used to always do that. It's every sleepover I was at. It's
Yeah.
like we have to who's going to be the loser to fall asleep
Right.
first.
Because you get FOMO and there's like
Right.
conversations that you're not in on. You got to get the
Mhm.
dirt.
Mhm.
Anyway.
Yep. Now it's me. And really, I think my judgment for late has just kind of shifted. It's slid a bit. So
Mm
now instead of late being 5 a.m., it's more like 10:30.
hmm. Mm hmm. True.
Mhm.
True.
Mhm.
Good point.
Balance is another thing that used to not affect me as a kid, but now it can. I randomly get vertigo if I leaning over and lift my head up too quickly, the
Yeah.
world is spinning. If I turn and look at something too quickly, the world is kind of tilted.
I got to say, balance has never really been on my side at any
Okay.
point in my life, but I could see this. I could
Okay.
see what you mean by this for sure.
Hmm. Also, this kind of ties into bikes. I used to be able to ride them.
Yeah.
bending my body is something that didn't faze me as a child, and now
Yeah.
I did gymnastics as a kid. I was doing back handsprings. Are you
Right.
kidding me? I can't do like a rolling back roll now. I don't know what those
I
are
can't
called.
even walk without like half throwing my back out sometimes.
I limp when I walk now. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I need physical therapy.
I have a bad habit of sitting cross with my legs crossed in my computer chair. That's why
Because
you
we
hear
can't
it.
reach the ground.
Yeah, that's why you hear it squeak so fucking much. It's because I'm always moving around. And then I'll go to stand up and I'm just like, oh my whole back and body just hurt from sitting like that for hours. It's not good. And I just go ahead and say the one note that I added to this list, as per usual, my 1% that I added was sitting in a car for long periods of time. I used to love a road trip as a kid. I'd be like, sign me up. I've got my arts and crafts. I've got a book. I'm good to go. I love a car ride. Now, anything over 15 minutes, get me the fuck out of there. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah. And like if you're driving too, your leg will get sore after a
Yes.
while. Oh my God.
And sometimes I sit and like I put my left leg in weird positions just because I'm like, what do I? This is so useless.
On like real long road trips, I'll put it out the window. Just stick your
I
foot out the
sometimes
window.
just like sit with it like up like this.
On the vent, like toes
Yes.
on the vent.
Mhm. Yeah. And I realized I'm seated like that when I pull into the car line at school and I'm just like, I should sit the fuck down.
Just be normal just for 2 minutes. That's
Just,
all we have to do.
just long enough to pick the kid up.
Something else that didn't faze me as a kid, but now it does, calories.
Fair.
I lived off of Oreos and Ritz crackers until I was 23.
Yeah.
And now I have one Oreo and
Got high cholesterol.
and I blow up.
Yeah. I got to get
Exactly.
blood work every 6 months.
Jesus. Another thing that didn't faze me as a kid, but now it does, my bones creaking.
Mm-hmm.
Is that new? Like, or did I just not notice it when I was younger?
True, good point. I'm not sure actually. There had to have been some creakage because like growing pains, you know?
Sure.
I mean, we're small. Like, did we really grow that much? We'll have to ask Birdie.
Oh, good point. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
tall.
long limbs.
This is more so like early adult, but things that didn't faze me, I'll say when I was young, but now it does, is cheap and or lots of alcohol.
Oh my gosh, yes. Okay, so my friends and I partied a good bit in high school. So for me, when it says as a kid, like I was a kid.
Right.
When I started partying.
I was thinking like 17.
And
you were younger though, right?
Yeah, like 15. We loved 99 any flavor. 99 bananas. No. I hate banana flavor. I can barely eat, like I will only eat a regular banana if it's like perfectly ripe and the air is just right outside and my hair looks good that day. Like it's got to be really specific circumstances for me to eat the banana just because I hate the flavor of banana. And oh my gosh, or like the whipped cream ones. There was like
I was gonna say orange. Like the Pinnacle
vodka. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, they had whipped cream. Oh no.
Yeah. Or I mean, I'm from Virginia, so we just had jungle juice, which is grain alcohol, and that is simply unsafe.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, because it's so unsafe, the people we were partying with had a spreadsheet and they would only allow you to get like so much of it in certain amounts of times because they were afraid people would get alcohol poisoning.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Ugh. You shouldn't drink grain alcohol.
Thanks science for accept.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Well, this week for Who's a Better Friend, we are doing bugaboos. And I unfortunately spoiled one of my bugaboos yesterday and then immediately was like, wait, that is the Who's a Better Friend topic, isn't it? Which, what did I even say? Shitty Wi-Fi.
Okay.
Yeah. That was it. So that's not on the list, but we are going to be guessing each other's top 3 bugaboos.
So for number 1 for you, I guessed fonts. So like,
ooh, good guess. Good guess. I should have put that on the list.
It feels like no points.
No points, but I feel like That is good.
I know.
I feel passionately about bad fonts.
Yeah. That's why I wrote it down. Okay.
That was a missed opportunity for me.
Number 2, geriatric people trying to fix their own websites.
Actually, I'll give that 1 point because it's in the correct
Okay.
spot, but it's not exactly what I wrote.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Number 3, things not being symmetrical or things being uneven. And this can be with words, it can be with art, it can be with anything, but everything has to be symmetrical and even and make
some kind
of
of balance, even if it's unbalanced.
Yes. Yeah.
I wished that I had the brain power to have written that down because that's actually super accurate as well. But no, I'm going to have to unfortunately say no points on that one. Although you do know me well, I'll say that. Okay, so in order, my top 3 bugaboos. Pronunciation is my bugaboo. My top 3 bugaboos. First one is repeating myself.
Oh, that's a good one.
I fucking hate to repeat myself. So best be warned that if I have said it once and you make me repeat myself, I'm going to be bitchy when I tell it to you the second time. Okay, Sean came in. Actually, example of this today. My husband came in while I was working and he just like looked at my computer and he saw all this screenshot that I was marking up. And I was like, you know, I'm pissed off if there's a bunch of arrows. And he was like, those are really big arrows. Like, couldn't be more clear. And I was like, well, I am repeating myself. Like the third time I'm repeating myself.
I tried the small arrows the first time. Mm-hmm. Didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. You didn't see that, obviously.
Right. Clearly big arrows are in order.
Yep. And I color coded them too. There were multiple. So I hate repeating
They're probably
myself.
Balanced.
They were. I made sure the lines were like the same length.
Of course.
My neurosis is showing. My second bugaboo is when people email me to ask questions that are very easily Googled. Very easy to Google. You could very easily find that answer out for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I could see how I got a half a point or a point.
Yeah, because they're usually geriatric.
Of the points. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Third, men on Zoom meetings. And at first I put like men interrupting me, but just men on Zoom meetings in general.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it there. I think that says enough.
I like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. I almost just started reading mine.
I wish you would have, because I really don't think I did that good of a job on yours. Okay. I don't think I got any of them right. So you're probably going to win this. You did get 1 point. So for number 1, I put technological difficulties.
No.
Okay, that's fair. It pisses everybody off. So it's like, is it anyone's top bugaboo? Autocorrect / Siri. Fuck. Okay. And this one was just me being a smartass, and I also didn't have a third one. I just wrote car shit.
Well, that gets a half a point.
That's hilarious. You still won, but that's hilarious.
That was the one that you thought wouldn't. Yeah. You know, when in doubt, just throw out a big net.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's hilarious.
Okay, so you know how I love an all-encompassing bullet point.
Yeah.
So number 1 is the audacity and unfounded confidence of men.
Amazing. That was beautiful. Yes. Snaps to that.
Number 2, people not using merge lanes correctly.
I almost put merge lanes just to be an even bigger smartass. And I was like, I'm just going to generalize with car shit. That's incredible.
Number 3, I just changed when I heard your number 3.
Nice.
I had laugh tracks originally, but I have changed it to men on podcasts.
Yes. Actually, I can think of one instance this week alone for you. So that's incredible.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That was a good topic, bugaboos.
That was a fun one, and it's really hard to actually like guess those and get them correct. I feel like.
Yeah,
but it was still a lot of fun.
No, and yours really just prove how well you know me better than I know myself. Honestly, I should have just gone with your list probably. The fonts, oh my god, I will bitch you out over a font.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I know.
And I'll make you feel crazy dumb. Like you like that font?
I made a logo with you, I'm aware.
I'm cutthroat. Like, you don't want to work with me. Tune in next week for Who's a Better Friend when we talk about ideal vacation spots.
Yeah.
I don't think that sounded right. Can you do this?
Tune in next week for Who's a Better Friend when we talk about ideal vacation destinations. No, I don't like that. Hang on.
Ideal. Why did it get worded so weird just then? Like, we just said, we said it, and now I can't remember how I initially worded it.
Tune in next week for Who's a Better Friend when we guess each other's favorite vacation destination. That's going to be so fun.
Follow us on Instagram at OutOfTouchPcast. Follow us on TikTok at OutOfTouchMoments. And send us a fucking email at outoftouchcast@gmail.com.
Boom.
Bye.